For the first time since 2023, we failed to drop an episode on Monday at 5 a.m. for our audio podcast. And I'm going to tell you why. In this episode, we're going to talk a little bit about the NBA playoffs. I'm also going to share some really big news that's happening for me on a personal level. And also, I'm going to tell you the story about what happened this past Sunday. We believe every NBA fan that plays fantasy football should also play fantasy basketball. So this past Sunday, I was getting ready to do my show. As always, I want to give a big shout out to my wife and my kids. They're super understanding, super supportive. Like, they are champions for what I do here with the Believe Network. And I'm just grateful, man. Like, I get to pull up every week and talk fantasy basketball and NBA news. It's just a dream come true for me. But this past Sunday was a little different. Oh yeah, your boy was not in the best state of mind. So I went to get ready for my show and everything. I got the lights ready, I got everything going. But the day was super taxing, y'all. It was so much happening. Like, it was overwhelming, to be quite honest. And the announcement that I'm going to share with you in a little bit played into that a little bit. So I'll tell you more in a sec. So I'm getting everything set up. I got a big cup of my drink here, like a huge cup. I got my mic, everything. And then the unthinkable occurs. I accidentally tip my mic over in slow motion. I see it. It goes down and it hits my drink. Now, this drink probably has like a half a liter of liquid in there. You know what I'm saying? And it spills all over the studio. When I tell you, like, it took everything in my power not to fully lose it. I think I did pretty bad. I dropped some profanity, which I don't typically do. I'm pretty sure it was an air shot of some of my family members here, but I did my best to keep my composure. Cleaned up the mess. Got the lights right again, got the mic right again. I was a couple of minutes late, but I was about to film the show. And as I was getting ready to film the show, I just told myself, it's okay. Like, I'm in a bad mood right now after that experience. I having to clean up a half a gallon of liquid off the floor, using some profanity in my household, which I don't do typically. And I was just not feeling it, yo. And I was just, compelled to take the night off. And I guess the message in all of that is that you're working on something every single day and you're putting in time on it. You at home, right? There's going to be a day where you are not able to show up as the best version of yourself. You can push through, which I've done on this show, right? I've lost my brother and I did this show. I lost my friend Shamal a couple of weeks ago and I did the show. So I can push through and you can too. But it's also all right for you to press pause, step away and say, you know what? No one is gonna, explode if I don't do this thing right now. No one's getting pulled with the jaws of life from a burning car. It's gonna be okay. So that's why I didn't publish the Sunday night YouTube video or the Monday morning audio podcast. Is just because I didn't have the bandwidth to do it. And I didn't want to show up as a version of myself that wasn't the best possible version. And that's for you because I want to show up for you. So that's why. Now let's get into some NBA playoff updates. We'll talk about the announcement towards the end of the episode. So let's go ahead and just pull up this screen I have here. So here goes the NBA playoff bracket. We got the Thunder and the Mavericks in the Western Conference semifinals. We also have the Timberwolves and the Nuggets. In the East, we have the Celtics and the Cavaliers, and we have the Pacers and the Knicks. So let's start with the Thunder and the Mavericks. So I had the opportunity to watch Game 1 last night at the time of recording this episode, and Luka looks kind of out of it, right? Kyrie looked good, especially in the second half, but Luka looked a little out of it. He was making some poor decisions. I believe it was Reggie Miller. No, it's Grant Hill, I believe. So Grant Hill was pointing out that Luka was going into his move before his teammates could fully set their screens. And a couple of times, the ref was calling a foul, or moving screen, I should say, on his teammates. So that was one thing, because typically Luke is like really tight. But the thing that stood out to me the most was Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Oh my goodness. This young man is a force of nature. And I honestly like Luka a little bit better than SGA, but in this series, he appears to be clearly the better player right now after game one. And everyone's banged up at this time of the year. I could see that SGA had a few moments where he had like ankle soreness, stuff like that. But everybody's banged up at this point of the season. So that's not an excuse for either Luka or SGA. But right now, man, the Thunder, they look different, y'all. Do you see how they get together for their post-game interviews? It doesn't matter who is getting interviewed. It could be like daggone Chet Holmgren. It could be one of the Jalen Williamses. It could be whoever. Lou Dort. And the whole team, or the majority of the team, you see Josh Giddey don't be there. He's not trying to get on camera. But the team rallies around whoever the person is that is doing an interview, or, you know, who's getting interviewed. I think that's awesome. Like, the vibes are just different. The vibrations that I am getting from the OKC Thunder is just different, man. So right now, I'm going to call Thunder. I would probably say Thunder in 6, maybe Thunder in 5 even. I would say Thunder in 5. The way it looked. I mean, it could turn around fast. There were moments where the Mavs were competing, but when there was some separation, it was like OKC didn't look back, y'all, and they hit shots when it mattered. So I'm going to go OKC maybe in 5. Next up, let's go to the Eastern Conference, Celtics and Cavs. The Cavs had a long 7-game series with the Magic, which I imagine was taxing on them. Took a bunch out of their troops, not to mention that Jarrett Allen is out. Jarrett Allen is out with a rib injury, which is a big deal, and they're not at 100%. I know that the Celtics are also banged up. I believe Porzingis is a little banged up, but any way you look at it, you still got to perform, and they just seemed to be outclassed by the Boston Celtics in game one. It's worth noting that Derek White was cooking with hot bacon grease. Like cooking. It was no joke. So I'm going to have to go Celtics. I'm not going to say how many games. I just know the Celtics are going to win this series. Next, let's go back to actually, let's stay in the East. Pacers and Knicks. We know that this is there is historical context here, right? Reggie Miller with the choke gesture towards Spike Lee in that game where I think he scored like 8 or 9 points in a matter of seconds. There's so much history here. And Jalen Brunson seems like he is doing this for all of the Knicks legends who experienced those days with the Pacers. I'm telling you, man, I would have never expected that he'd be this good. I have his rookie card. I have a graded CSG 10, I believe, of his rookie card. I would have never thought that the backup point guard from Dallas would be this guy, but he is that guy. And honestly, I don't think there's any way that the Pacers can win this series. I think they'll get a game or two, maybe, but Brunson just looks different, man. They're rallying around him. The way the team is built, it's constructed to highlight his strengths. Doesn't matter how tall the guy is they put on him. They double team him. He makes you pay. I'm really excited about what the Knicks are doing, and I got the Knicks in this series. Last but not least, oh, baby. You know, I saved this one for last, y'all. Minnesota versus the Nuggets. Now, you couldn't have told me at the beginning of the NBA season that we would be having this conversation about the Minnesota Timberwolves and the daggone Denver Nuggets, where the Timberwolves are up 2-0. What? Where they do that at? Against the defending champs. You know what this is. Ant-Man, top is off. Boobies is out here blowing in the wind. Convertible status. Front row at the Wu-Tang concert. Every saying that we have for this show. Cooking with hot grease. Ant Edwards is the truth, y'all. There's a video of him circulating on the internet right now. It's a comparison video between Anthony Edwards and Devin Booker. They asked them both the same question. What would you like to see changed in the NBA? And it's remarkable how Anthony Edwards responded. But I'll start with Devin Booker. Devin Booker said something to the effect of, I wish they stopped doing all these back-to-backs. I wish there were no back-to-backs. Which I get it. That's fine. You don't want to work 2 days in a row. I get it. Anthony Edwards, y'all want to know his response? I'm going to probably create a short about this one. Anthony Edwards said, I wish these guys stopped resting games. And I'm paraphrasing here. I wish these guys stopped resting games because there's a fan out there that probably saved up all the money that they have to come to see me on that night in that city. And I don't want to disappoint that one fan. That shish kebab, I mean, that brings a tear to my eye because that's what I feel as a fan, and that's what I love. I've purchased tickets to go to a game, and then the guy sat. It sucks. We got kids in the crowd. So I am just going to declare it today. Anthony Edwards is my favorite basketball player, and it's not because of what he's doing in the playoffs. That's a part of it, but it's for that statement, that posture to be like, you know what? I want to make sure I'm here to serve my fans. I get to play basketball for a living, and I'm not taking any days off because I want to make sure that I show up for that one fan. So I declare that I am an Anthony Edwards fan from this day moving forward. Number one guy, and that's my number one guy in the NBA right now. It was Luka, it was Ja. I'm sorry, y'all. It was LaMelo for a little bit. I'm sorry, y'all. This is it. I'll be wearing my Minnesota Timberwolves hat for the next episode. But let's talk about this matchup. I do think that the Nuggets will win a game. I don't think that they're going to go through and sweep them. But it's worth noting that the Timberwolves are undefeated in the playoffs right now. They swept the Phoenix Suns, 2 games on the Nuggets. I wouldn't put it past them, but I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think they win 2 in Minnesota. I do think that the Nuggets might steal 1, and then they'll lose when they come back to Denver. I think this is going to go 5 games. But, man, it's an amazing time for the NBA. We're watching the changing of the guard right before our eyes, so I'm really excited about seeing what Anthony Edwards does in the next round. So, before we move on, let's talk about BetOnline. BetOnline is your number one source for all your summer sports this season, from MLB, golf, NBA, and NHL, playoff stats. All the latest stats, news, and scores available to follow your favorite teams. Get the latest odds and lines, including the latest team matchups, player props, and odds on just about every sport out there. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to get in on the action. BetOnline, where the game starts. Very important, guys. We need you to be a two-way player. What is a two-way player? A two-way player is someone who plays offense and defense. On offense, we need you to listen and watch on the YouTube channel, and we also need you to subscribe. On defense, we need you to check out the audio version of the show. You can do both. Don't just play offense and not play defense. You want to be a two-way player. Now, for the special announcement that I wanted to talk about. I said that at the beginning of the episode, I didn't have a lot of space over the weekend because I had a lot going on, and it was connected to this announcement. So recently, I was invited to be a TEDx speaker for a TEDx event here in the state of Georgia. I'm super honored. If you guys don't know, TEDx is the locally organized version of TED Talks. And TED Talks are where people go to spread ideas. And it's an amazing space. A lot of famous folks have been on that stage, and I'm just grateful for the opportunity. So I am really working hard. I got my script here that I'm like working on, trying to memorize it. I have to memorize this script. I wrote the script. It went to review. Like, it's a lot of work. So I just wanted to share the news with you because I'm excited and hyped about it, but also let you know that please bear with me if our schedule fluctuates over the next couple of weeks. It is the off season for NBA. I will get content out to you, but the talk is on June 22nd. So from now until June 22nd, it is like the top creative priority for me. Like, it's the thing that I have to give the most space and energy to. So please just give me some grace there. If you're expecting the episodes on Sundays and Mondays, I'll do my best to get them out to you as frequently as possible. But just know that once the TED Talk is done, we'll go back to our normal schedule. And if you need anything, don't hesitate to shoot me a DM on any of our social media platforms. And again, I'm just super excited about seeing what happens with the NBA playoffs. I'll try to do at least an episode every week, give updates on the NBA playoffs. In terms of WNBA, I'm going to hold on WNBA content for right now. If you really want more WNBA content, please shoot me a DM. Again, the reason that I'm going to really just lock in on NBA here is because I'm working on the TED Talk, and that's going to take a certain amount of energy and space from me, and learning the intricacies of the WNBA right now, I just don't have the bandwidth to do it. But if you really want me to create some content, I might do some shorts. Make sure you check out this episode right here, and don't forget, play the waivers, set your lineups, and believe in fantasy.